a new leader wondering how to communicate with your team for the best results? Or maybe you've been managing for a while and you're wondering about the best way to communicate so that your team knows you're dialed in and so they feel supported. Well, if you want to know the best kept communication secrets that great leaders know that'll help you to stand out, you're in luck. In today's episode, I'm going to go over some of the least talked about communication secrets of great leaders that you'll be able to incorporate into your management style. So keep watching. Welcome to my channel, the best place for new and emerging leaders who want help navigating challenging conversations in the workplace. If you're new to me, I'm Jaboria Scott, and I'm an online leadership coach. I've worked in leadership positions in both the nonprofit and public service sectors for about almost 2 decades now. And I also consult and basically do all things leadership. But enough about me, let's get into the tips. We all know that communication is a basic part of everything that we do in life. It includes everything from communicating our needs and intentions with others to understanding the world around us and everyone's place in it. Now, it stands to reason that having good communication skills is also essential to workplace harmony, and it's an extremely important skill for leaders to master. Here's the thing though. While verbal communication is very important, it's not always the most powerful way to communicate. There are other more powerful ways of getting your message across that people don't often talk about. I call them the hidden gems of communication or communication secrets. This is because effective communication is just as much about what you do as it is about what you say. Let's get into the first tip so that you'll understand what I mean. So the first communication secret of great leaders is listening is a powerful communication tool. Yep, you heard me correctly. Listening is a powerful communication tool. Right now, you may be asking yourself, how is listening a powerful communication skill? Well, an important part of effective communication is making the other person feel heard. What I mean by this is that the act of talking is not the only way to make people feel a positive connection during a conversation. When you give subtle cues that you're attentive and engaged in hearing what the other person is saying, the person makes a positive mental and emotional connection with you. This is centered on the fact that what was most important was how the interaction made that person feel. This is why listening is an important part of the communication process. In his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie told the story of talking to a florist at a dinner party. During the conversation with her, Dale mostly listened while the florist did almost all of the talking. When the party was over, the woman told the host that Dale was one of the best conversationalists that she had ever talked to. Dale got praised for being mostly silent and listening because the florist felt engaged and she felt heard. You can also apply this example to your own life. Can you think of a time when someone appeared to hear what you said, but they didn't seem to be locked in or engaged to listening to what you were saying? Now, when you think about that interaction, how did it make you feel? Were you angry, annoyed, frustrated, or did you feel completely put off? Let me know in the comments below by commenting with the words angry, annoyed, or whatever word you used for how you felt. Good leaders who practice active listening skills usually accomplish 3 things. Number 1, when you listen, you are demonstrating that you value the other person enough to be open to listening to what they have to say. This doesn't mean that you necessarily agree with everything that they say, but it has a positive impact on that person because you're giving them your undivided attention. In that moment, when you're listening to the other person, you're making it more about them and less about you. Number 2, the second reason why listening is a powerful communication skill is because when you actively listen, you give yourself time and opportunity to truly hear what the other person is communicating. This allows you to respond with thoughtful replies instead of responding with a pre-planned response, which might only include your thoughts and your opinions. When leaders are only waiting until the other person stops talking to jump in with a response, it doesn't make room for the other person's thoughts and ideas. This can cause you to rush to judgment because you're so ready to get your point across that you don't really listen to the other person. And the third reason why listening is a powerful communication skill is that people will begin to regard you as thoughtful, and you'll be able to read the room and gauge the reaction of those around you. This will give you the upper hand in weighing your words for maximum effect. When you listen carefully and intently, you may learn things that you weren't expecting to learn. A quote from Ernest Hemingway says, "When people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen." This ties perfectly into my next point. The second communication secret of great leaders is that great communicators are comfortable with silence. In the book 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, law number 4 states the following: always say less than necessary. In this fast-paced world, it's kind of hard to shut out the noise. Everyone and everything wants to take center stage in order to stand out. But the real way to stand out is to learn when to speak and when it's important to be silent and hold space for others. Learning to be comfortable without the need to fill in the gap is a remarkable skill set that requires self-control. Mastering the ability to allow pauses and appropriate silence in communication helps you to do the following. A. Silence encourages you to be patient and practice self-control. It takes a strong person to be able to talk only when necessary and wait your turn to talk, especially during emotionally charged conversations. Patience and self-control will give you the time to formulate a logical, well-thought-out opinion. B. Silence gives you the advantage because when we know when and when not to speak, we minimize regret. You can't be sorry for something you said if you've never said it. And C. Silence and spending alone time produces creativity and helps you to cultivate new ideas because you'll be better able to focus. They say that silence is golden. The third communication secret of great leaders is that visibility is a form of communication. In addition to quarterly email updates, staff who don't hear from you regularly would love for you to stop by their cubicles and things of that nature. Well, now that things have changed because of the need for social distancing, you could increase the number of video calls and phone calls to your individual team members. If you want to communicate who you are and what you stand for, it's important as a leader to find time to interact with those that you lead. In this day and age, it's easy to hide behind a computer screen and to only be known to your staff through emails and memos. Things don't always translate well on paper, and they can't get to know that you actually have a sense of humor or that you share similar interests if you never interact with your team. The fourth communication secret of great leaders is authentic leaders get the best results. Don't copy someone else. If you're funny, allow your humor to infuse your leadership style. Being authentic allows you to build strong connections with your team and surround yourself with good talent and staff who aren't afraid to make mistakes and be themselves. Be honest and sincere. People care less about your ability to use big words than they do about you being your real self. Don't be fake and disguise who you are. When people know who you are and what your values are and what you stand for, they connect more easily with you because you are a person who they can identify with. Leadership is a lot about how we make people feel and about how we show up in our leadership roles. And people like people who they can relate to. So let's recap these communication secrets. Number 1, listening is a powerful skill. Number 2, get comfortable with silence. Number 3, being visible is a form of communication. And number 4, be authentic. Comment below and let me know what your favorite secret was. I think John Powell sums it up best in his quote, which says, "Communication works for those who work it." Now, if you're watching this video and you want to know how to develop your personal leadership strategy, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell because in my next video, I'm going to give you the step-by-step details on how to create a useful plan and an effective strategy. As always, have a great week, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.